We're by the two dots on Daf Chof Ches Amud Beis, page 56. Now, as you guys already know, what are the first shtickle of Gimel talking about? Talk about mitzvahs. They talked about the idea that mitzvahs are a merkava. They carry Hashem. In other words, when you do a mitzvah, essentially, what you're doing with doing a mitzvah is carrying Pnimi Yisratz and the Elyon V'chav Tamit into this world. In other words, when you do a mitzvah, you're carrying the idea of Achdus, everything is God, into this world. So any mitzvah carries Eibush into the world. And I told you that there's the Kalim of Atzilus, there's your Guf, and there's the Chaftzeh Shal Mitzvah. The Avis are called the Merkava because Kol Yameyim and Kol Evareyim Kulam, they were Merkava to the Eibush. Now we're going to learn about Teda. Teda is the Neshama of Atzilus. If mitzvahs is the Varim, Teda is the Neshama. So there's two differences you have to understand between Teda and mitzvahs. Difference number one is mitzvahs are the limbs. They're carrying Alakus. They're carrying Pnimi Yisratz and Elyon V'chav Tamiti. In other words, they're carrying Achdus Hashem. Teda is Pnimi Yisratz and Elyon V'chav Tamiti. Teda is Achdus. But there's another difference. And that is that there's one Teda and many mitzvahs. Each mitzvah is like a small candle. Teda is called the Eid. Neir mitzvah v'Teda Eid. Each mitzvah is an individual candle. And Teda is the whole lichtek, the whole light. So Teda is better than mitzvah for two reasons. First of all, it's Achdus itself. It's not just a Merkava for Achdus. It's Pnimi Yisratz and Elyon V'chav Tamiti itself, not just a Merkava for Pnimi Yisratz and Elyon V'chav Tamiti itself. And second of all, it's an Inyan Kololi. These are the milas of Teda over mitzvahs. And the Rebbe says, when you learn Teda, you're not a Merkava of Achdus Hashem, you become the Achdus. When you learn Teda, you're not a Merkava to Pnimi Yisratz and Elyon V'chav Tamiti, you become Pnimi Yisratz and Elyon V'chav Tamiti. It makes sense. When a person uses his mind to think words of Teda, when a person speaks with his mouth words of Teda, that's machshava and dibur, thought and speech are the inner garments. Shall never shall the kiss of the godly soul. Now notice, all of a sudden, dibur is called also pnimi. It's not called emtzoi. V'koshken, and even more so, never shall the kiss atma, the divine soul itself. Hamalubeshes behem, which the machshava and dibur are garments for. Says they have a kulam, all those three things: your neshama, your machshava, and your dibur. When you're learning Teda, they're not a merkava, they're one with alakus. Miyuchadim mamish are absolutely one. V'yichud gomer, the perfect one, is baratzn ha'elyon, the will of Hashem. V'lei merkava levad, they're not simply a chariot. Kiratz and ha'elyon, because the will of the Eibishter, hu hadvar halacha atzma, it is the halacha itself. That a person thinks and speaks. In other words, not the will of Hashem is carried by the Teda. Teda is itself the will of Hashem. The mitzvahs carry the will of Hashem. They're a merkava to Pnimi Yisratz and V'chav Tamiti. They're a guf l'neshama. Teda is the neshama itself. Shekol ha'halachas, all the halachas, hein prati yam shachas pnimiyas, are individual drawings down. Pnimi Yisratz and Elyon. Atzmei are the innermost will of the Eibishter itself. Shakach Allah b'tzeini is barech, that's what the Eibishter wishes. Shadav is emuter, kosher, oy poter, oy zakeh. This thing is permitted, or fit, or exempt, or meritus. Oy lehepech, or the contrary. V'chein, moreover, not only are the ideas of Teda, the Ratzon Elyon, called tzirufei eisias tanach, even the letters. And the letters are like a guf. And if the letters are like a guf, the letters should be compared to the merkava of Teda, like the Rebbe know. Not only are the ideas of Teda, the pnimiyat of Ratzon Elyon V'chav Tamiti itself, the eisias of Teda are pnimiyat of Ratzon Elyon V'chav Tamiti itself. Chen tzirufei eisias tanach, the formation of the letters of the Tanakh, of Teda should be ksav. Hey, Namshachas, that the actual bringing down of the will and wisdom of the Eibishter, Hamiyuchades, being saved Baruch, which are one with the Eibishter's Ein Sof, B'tachas the greatest level of oneness, Shuayadei Avu Amad V'chol, because Hashem, the knowledge, the knower, and the known are one, right? And it says in Zayed, it's quoted in Tanya, Pedig Dal, the Raisa V'kuchabricha Kol Achat, Teda and Eibishter are one. So there's a difference between Eisias HaTeda and mitzvahs. Mitzvahs are Evarim the Malka. Teda is the Eid itself. Like we had in the Kuntas Achan that we learned last cycle, that mitzvahs are called the Pnimiyas of Chitzenius Haratzim, and Eisias are the Chitzenius of Pnimiyas. No, forget it. Mitzvahs are the Pnimiyas of Chitzenius of Pnimiyas Haratzim, and the Shamas are the Pnimiyas of Chitzenius. But Eisias HaTeda are Eideler than mitzvahs themselves. Which says in the Zayah that I said Kuchabricha Kulachat and Hashem are one. It's not only like the limbs of the king. top of page Chavtes now. Kipi Kudim as mitzvahs. Before the two days, we talked about mitzvahs, that mitzvahs are carrying Atzmos and stuff. Pnimius Ratznali V'Chavtzi Amita, also known as Achtos. Teda is the Ratznali. And since Sharatznelyin, the will of Hashem, Amyuchad is bein Tzav, Amyuchad bein Tzav Baruch B'Tachas Ayichad, which is one with Ein Tzav, an absolute oneness. Who Begili Legamri is totally revealed in Teda. V'lei behest upon him klal klal. And it's not at all, the face of Hashem is not concealed whatsoever. B'nefesh al kiss in the divine soul. U'l'shau apnim, its innermost garments. What are the inner garments? Shehei machshavta v'dibura. The person's neshama's thought and speech. Says the Rebbe, so be'esa shah that hour. Shah the mesa b'divrei Torah, he learns Torah. Haragama nefesh u'l'shau elu. The person's neshama and the garments of machshava of dibur, they become Ein Sof. Miyuchad mamish bein Sof baruch be'esa shaha. They're absolutely one with the Ein Sof at that hour. B'tachas hayichah, with the greatest level of oneness. Not like a merkava that carries the ratzon, but they become the ratzon of the Ein Sof itself. Ki yichud, like the unity of the buri and machshavta shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the speech and thought of the Eibishter. In his essence, as we discussed in chapter 21. And what did we discuss in chapter 21? That Tzimtzum Shalai Kipshutei. Chapter 20, we said that the dibur is insignificant. Klochshiv, the dibur Hashem spoke, but it's only a word. In chapter 21, we said that the speech never happened. The world is one with the Eibishter. When you learn Torah, you're one with the Eibishter's speech and thought from Hashem's point of view. So you're one with Ein Sof, like as if there's no tzimtzum at all. There is no separation whatsoever. Unless Hashem's face is concealed, as we mentioned earlier. Now, I want to talk to you for a moment about the translation of the word Hester Ponim. Hester Ponim means the blockage of Hashem's face. So he says, Ein B'chinas Hester Ponim. It's not the face is blocked, which is a double negative. It's not blocked. Why doesn't he say directly it's revealed? And I'll tell you why. Because when you want to describe something that has no limits, you never describe it directly. If I say great, it can be greater. If I say cannot be greater, that's the greatest. When you want to say something in the most powerful, the most comprehensive way, big that cannot be bigger, you have to say it negatively. You follow what I'm saying? So you don't want to say Hashem is revealed. You want to say He's not hidden. Because when you say Hashem is revealed, you could still argue. When you say He's not hidden, the pshat that not hidden means He's not hidden at all. And the message is like this. We look at the world and we say Hashem is hidden, we have to find Him. Hashem looks at the world and Hashem says, I'm revealed, I need to conceal myself so the world should be here. Teda is the Eibishter, B'li Hester upon him. His face is not concealed. What's the pshat? Hashem's face is not concealed. Hashem is revealed so much. How much? He cannot be revealed more. And that's why you use the double negative, B'li Hester upon him. Without his face. without his face. It's not his face. Not his face is yes his face. You understand? So when a Yid learns Torah, he's one with Ein Sof. Which Madrega of Ein Sof? The Madrega of Ein Sof with his B'chlal no Tzimtzum Kipshutei. From our point of view, there's a world. From Hashem's point of view, everything is one with the Eibishter. In the Torah, everything is still one with the Eibishter. And when you learn Torah, you become one with that. And you never then, you don't feel it. But whether you feel it or not is immaterial. The fact of the matter is, when a Yid learns Torah, he's not only a Merkava Felakos that we discussed, but again, to mitzvahs, he's one with Ein Sof. And the Rebbe continues. Not only that, but even more. Now, I just want to show you, in the next page, Chav Daled, if you can quickly turn to page 58, 5 lines from the bottom, you're going to have another V'lo Yoed Ella. I'm just showing you symmetry, right? The Alter Rebbe wants to say Zela Umazeh. So you have mitzvahs, and Torah, and now you have a V'lo Yoed Ella. In the next page, you're going to have Avedis, and Aved Zara, and a V'lo Yoed Ella. Those 3 things, or these 3 things, are the Zela Umazeh. Not only when Yid learns Torah is he one with the Eibishter's Ein Sof, which is Mislabish and Elameis, but when the Yid learns Torah, he's one with Ein Sof, which is Seviv Kalamim, which is higher than Elameis. Until now, we say when you learn Torah, you one with the Ein Sof, which is in Atzilus. And you one with the Ein Sof, which is in all the worlds. Now you're going to say you one with Ein Sof, has Seviv Kalamim, which is higher than the worlds. Why? Simple. Torah is the blueprint of the world, and Torah creates the worlds, so Torah must be higher than the worlds it creates. So not only when you learn Torah, you're one with the Ein Sof, which is in the worlds, you're one with the Ein Sof, which is the shaders of the worlds. That's the V'lo Yoed Ella. Mitzvahs make you a merkava for Ein Sof. Torah makes you one with the Ein Sof, which is mislabish ve'elamis. V'lo Yoed Ella, sheyichudam, that the one is between a Yid and Torah and Hashem when he learns Torah. Oh, but yes, it does. There's more weight and more power. They didn't say Baruch Hu than the oneness of the Eibishter's light, Ve'elam Esayenim in the higher world. Stop. What does Elam Esayenim mean? The Alter Rebbe flag zogen of Atzilus Oibim. Elyon always means Atzilus. Elam Esayenim, Moshe Rabbe means Atzilus and higher than Atzilus. When you learn Teda, you are more connected to the Eibishter Ein Sof than the Ein Sof is in Atzilus and higher than Atzilus. Why? Because the will of Hashem, who begili mamish b'nefesh l'vosheha, is fully revealed in the neshama and the garments of ha'eskim Teda when it learns Teda. Sharehu Teda atzma. When you learn Teda, you are the Teda itself, or in other words, the will of Hashem is the Teda itself. Now, all the worlds, including the higher worlds, mikablim chayusam, get their life. Me'er v'chayis, from the life, light and life, middle of page Chavtes. Hanimshach ma'atera, which comes from Teda. Shiratzeine b'chachmasi is Baruch, which is the will and wisdom of the Eibishter. K'diksiv that says, Kulam, all the worlds, b'chachmasi. So I'll create it with chachma. What does the word chachma mean over here? The word chachma over here means the Teda. So if Teda is the blueprint of all the worlds, including Atzilus, and even the worlds higher than Atzilus, you have to say that chachma, which is the Teda. Shiatera, which is the Teda, is l'mayla mikulam. The creator has to be higher than the creation. If Teda is the blueprint of all the worlds, the Ein Sof, which is in Teda, which is called Pnimius Ratzon Ha'elyon, will, which is higher than Chachma. The Chatzei Amiti has to be higher than the highest world. HaChachma shehi HaTeda is l'mayla mikulam. The Chachma of the Eibishter, the Teda is higher than the highest world. In other words, v'hihi reteni yizbarach ha'nikra seviv kolam. It's the level of Hashem's will, or Hashem's Ein Sof, which is called seviv, hidden from all the worlds. Shehi Bechina, this is a level, it's a level of godliness that cannot possibly be revealed in the worlds. Rak Machayet gives life, Umeir, it gives life, light. Lamaila, from above, Bechinas Makif. What does Makif mean? In a hidden way. And even though you're talking about a level of Ein Sof, which is higher than the highest world, which is hidden from the highest world, you should know that when you study Teda, it is revealed. Nefesh and the person's neshama in his garment, in a revealed way, mamish. When he studies Teda, even though you and I learn Teda and we don't feel Ein Sof, what would happen if we would learn Teda and feel Ein Sof? Either we'd all be tzaddikim, or we'd all vanish. So we don't feel how when you started there with Ein Sof. This is why we're able to learn the Teda and tolerate it. Because we don't see Mashen Kabbayenim as opposed to the higher worlds. If a Malach would learn Teda, it would blow him up.
There is Hesed.
We don't feel, no, it's not Hesed. It's a lack of Hergish. We'll talk about that at a different time. We don't feel the Ein Sof, but the Ein Sof is by us it's revealed. So when a Yiddo learns Teda, there's a Gili of Elakus which is not even available in the highest elements. So to get to the point, mitzvahs are merkava for Achdas Hashem, they're merkava, pnimi yitzrat, and Teda is the Achdas Hashem itself.